Typically, no matter how well you plan things, something's going to go wrong. There's going to be surprises, and the universe will throw a curveball at you, and he's going to teach you how to prepare for that.
Today, I'm here to welcome Elizabeth and Jackie, who are chair and vice chair of the Kern County SHRM 2024 Symposium. It's going to be a great event, and we're going to be discussing all of the keynotes, the breakout sessions, panel sessions, and what it's going to be like for you to attend. I highly encourage business owners, C-suite, upper management employees, and anyone who's in the HR industry to attend this event because it's going to be amazing information for you to know on the changes that are happening in the HR industry.
Welcome back to the Our 2 Cents podcast, the show where your local professionals sit down with an array of guests to hear their story and impart some wisdom for both business and life-improving skills. This is your place to hear business and community leaders discuss relevant topics that matter to you.
And welcome to the show today. I'm your host, Amanda Jones, formerly DiGiacomo. And before we get today's episode started, I encourage all of our listeners to go back to our website, Our 2 Cents Podcast, to download and check out any previous episodes, and make sure you're following us on social media. I'm super excited to have our guests Elizabeth and Jackie on the show today, and I can't wait to discuss their symposium that will be here October 2nd. Welcome back, listeners. Today, I'm really excited to have SHRM here to discuss what they do here in the community, as well as their upcoming symposium in October. With me, I have Elizabeth Maldonado and Jackie Andrade here with us as well, and they're chair and vice chair of the symposium that is going to be here in October. So I'd like to kind of start and just discuss what SHRM is, their mission statement, and what you guys provide here in the community.
Sure. So we are Kern County Society for Human Resource Management. We're affiliated with the larger national SHRM, and our chapter here is actually very active. We're a nonprofit organization, predominantly human resource professionals, but we have safety professionals, and our primary goal is to foster an educational environment and facilitate the exchange of information. We provide networking opportunities, monthly meetings. We have member webinars, member only. We have conferences, programs, activities, educational opportunities, and we have a really neat newsletter that goes out to our members. And then the networking and mixer events are great, and I feel like they're just growing, and that's to help us connect in the community.
Perfect. So you mentioned members, and I see on our website scholarships. So can you tell us a little bit more about membership and how somebody can join to be a member?
Sure. So we have an annual membership fee, and actually I don't know what that is. I pay it every year because I can't not be a member, because you get discounts to our lunches, our conferences. There are now free or low-cost webinars for members only. And we have corporate memberships as well. I wish I knew the amount of what they were,
okay.
But it's under $200. I can tell you that.
That's awesome. Okay. So it's a membership-based kind of nonprofit, and in that membership, you get access to events and different educational and monthly newsletters. And it sounds like, is these events also open to people that are not members?
Yes, non-members can attend anytime, and they'll come to our monthly lunches to kind of learn. We also have a student chapter at CSUB, and they're at a lot of our events, and we actually have a mentorship program with them, with the students. So we're trying to bring up, the next level of HR professionals. And we have like I mentioned, non-HR professionals that attend our events as well, because the, executive level, HR department of one, business owners, because if you're a small business, it's a great place to get that HR foundation. And we do branch out into safety and risk management as well.
And that's my key point here, because those are primarily people. I mean, I work with all types of business sizes, but I'm primarily working with smaller businesses that don't have an HR department, which I wanted to emphasize that you don't have to be an HR professional to go to these. I actually suggest and encourage, if you are a business owner and don't have an HR department, that you attend these events, because now you're staying up to code on the different regulations. And unfortunately, we all live in California with crazy regulations. And so it's good to have a resource for business owners that can stay up to date with those.
And I say for our business owners here in the community, and you're absolutely right, when you don't have an HR person, it usually falls on your finance person or on you as the business owner. And it's a great place to actually connect with other people like you and get those resources. We do have consultants and other type of people and attorneys. So if you're looking for an HR attorney, you can come and attend their presentations and find one that you like. I really like the networking aspect because if you don't know where to go, it's a place that you can trust.
Yeah, and good examples for business owners is when you're ready to hire your first employee, this is the resource you should be looking at. When you're ready to create an employee handbook, this is the resources you should be looking at. When you're confused about sick leave and sick pay and FMLA and all these other, types of fringe benefits that we have to offer employees, again, this is a good resource for you.
Yes.
And so I want to be very clear on, what that educational part is for business owners. Because again, a business owner might be listening and like, well, I don't really, I'm not an HR professional. I don't need to be listening to SHRM. And the reality is if you have one employee or more, you should be listening to SHRM and be going to the events and staying up to date with all the regulations.
Yes, because you do not want to pay those penalties and fees and your workforce is happy until they're not. Fortunately, I think our small business owners have a great culture in their office, but you still want to treat your employees well, which they do. But, what are the latest benefits that you can offer them? What are the rules? Are there, different educational benefits that you can provide to your employees and kind of just stay competitive? So yeah, it's a great ways to go, very affordable. Even our monthly lunch and learns as a non-member are very affordable so that you can kind of pick the topics you need, whether it's benefits, compensation. Our legal updates are hugely attended. They're our biggest ones. We have 2 a year. And I would say that it's a great, maybe spend an hour and a half of your time. We're really punctual. So that's great.
Yeah. So it sounds like during the year you have monthly lunch and learns. It looks like you have legal updates twice a year. And then they, have different membership newsletters and perks for members. And so I feel like that gives us a broad range of what SHRM offers and does. But I know everyone here is super excited to talk about the symposium that's happening in October because that's your guys' biggest event every year, correct?
Yes.
So I think we're going to start talking about what people can expect this year and exactly what is the symposium.
Yes, so our biggest event will be October 2nd. It is one of our largest events for the local chapter, and our theme is to inspire, energy, and elevate. And usually it's one of the days where we partner with mind-like professionals to encourage each other to do better, be better, educate each other. So it'll be on 10-2 at the Mechanics Bank off Truxton. It'll be 7:30 to 4:30, and then with the mixer to follow. So to register for the event, it would be kcshrm.com/events. We have our keynote speakers, Avish Badashar, who is an improv comedian, and he's going to be using his improv comedy as tools to teach us valuable business skills such as creativity, innovation, and adaptability. One of his biggest authors or books would be The Improvise to Success and Say Yes And. We have our afternoon keynote speaker that's going to be Rob Devin. So he is an in-demand speaker. He does tech talks, talks about happiness and how we could just incorporate trainers specializing in employee happiness, engagement, and resilience.
And so to be clear, you still have registration open, correct?
We do have registration opens. We also have a few sponsorship opportunities left, but they are filling rather quickly. So if you are looking to sponsor, please register today. It would be a great way to promote your business and network with mind-like professionals.
Perfect. Yeah, I think if you go to their website as well, it shows and very clearly what the sponsorship entails and the different pricing and which ones they have available. And so again, that's kcshrm.com, kcshrm.com, and that has all the information about the keynote speakers and the different sponsorship levels. So let's say that I'm attending this year. What can I expect from when I start at 7:30 in the morning till 4 o'clock? What's my timeline as somebody who's attending?
So as you walk in, you get registered. We do have the meals, so breakfast, lunch, And truly, it's one of our biggest events where we have over 450 attendees. We're shooting for 46 exhibitor booths, 2 keynote speakers, 15 breakout speakers, and we're going to have our national SHRM, Shannon Taylor, who's going to be coming in and educating us about SHRM and HRCI. So another thing, too, that I want to highlight about KC SHRM is that we do have our Scholarship Foundation. So our Scholarship Foundation, we raise money on our mixer that takes place in July. And for those HR professionals and even business professionals that are looking to get their HRCI, PHR, SHRM certificates, we know there's a fee behind it. So even when you're trying to get tools to help you study for the test, it could be very expensive. So our scholarship does just that, helps you pay for your fees so you're able to further your education and career within HR.
Perfect. So the 65 vendors, are those local businesses and nonprofits, or is it just people that are in the HR division, or like what does those vendors look like?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. It's vendors within the staffing industry, vendors within benefits, maybe financial planning, anything that'll help the business improve.
And is there still spots available for the vendors, like people wanted to sign up to be a vendor?
We do. As of this morning, we have 7 spots left.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty awesome. So if you're listening to this, make sure you quickly reach out if you want to be a vendor. That's amazing. I mean, and how many years have this symposium been going on?
This will be our 27th.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so you mentioned breakout sessions. So I'm assuming people do registration. They come in, they're walking around, they're mixing and mingling. You have, people, like you said, keynote speakers. What does that breakout sessions look like?
Usually we try to break it down within tracks. We have our leadership and navigation track. We have communication and relation management, business acumen, global and cultural effectiveness, and our HR expertise and compliance that usually falls within, legal compliance. Like you said, we live in California, so it's constantly changing.
So is that something that they register online for the breakout, or do they choose the breakout during the session, or like how do they go into the breakout session?
Usually our speakers apply to be a potential speaker for our symposium. And as a board, we look at who we currently have that has applied. And based on their topics, we partner them with a track, where we outline them under a track.
And then attendees, so they can review the keynotes are already up. So take a look. We've got some of our speakers and their information's already up on the website. So you can take a sneak peek before the event. Everyone's kind of like bios and like a short synopsis of what they're talking about will be up on the website. We also have the HOVA app, WHOVA. There's always like, how do you pronounce that? But anyway, it's an app. So it's live when you're at the conference. And that way you can even create your event schedule. If there's something you don't want to miss, then you put it on there. So you can change your sessions if you want. You can plan them ahead of time according to track or outside of the track. We try to make it easy for you if you want to stick with one. But I love looking on that. And then I create my event calendar and reminders so I don't forget which session I'm attending, because I'm usually rushing from one thing to the next, and the exhibitor booths are great. So the app has been really helpful for us. Also, when you connect with other people and vendors, you can scan it. It saves it in the app so that you're not carrying around business cards. Oh, you do need to bring business cards. I will add that because you're going to drop them in for raffles we do at the end of the day. So almost every vendor has one, so you'll want to bring that.
Perfect. So to clear it up a little bit, it's for attendees, they just choose which breakout session they want. Have you ever had where there was no capacity in the room and everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, because at the women's conference, that happens all the time. And that's why they started kind of trading to you have to sign up beforehand for it.
We haven't had to do that yet. We have a handful of sessions sometimes that are really popular. We don't always know, but we kind of have an idea which speakers are always highly attended. We do try to change up our speakers every year, but we'll put them in the bigger rooms.
Okay.
We plan as best as possible.
And it helps when you plan your agenda for the day, because that's going to help us figure out
on the app, so you can see who's we already have 80
attended
people that are wanting this one. And
correct.
Okay. What was the pronunciation and spelling of the app again?
WHOVA, WHOVA. So when you register, you'll have a link to that. And some people get really competitive in the app because they have games and challenges. You can share pictures, and it really helps with engagement. That's how our bingo kind of challenge works too during the app. So I like having that there, and I kind of know who my backup. Well, if the room is too full, they're all close together except for one. So it's really easy to go around to another one if you had to, but for the most part we can fit.
So I have a note here about also that you're having panel discussions during the day. Do we want to discuss like maybe who's on, I don't know if you have who's on the panel or what that panel discussion might look like?
We do. So we're doing things a little bit different this year, and we are going to have a group of 5 panelists. So just to share, Adrian Navarez, Robin Paggi, Devin Brown, Juanita Webb, and Marisol Ramirez. And they're going to be discussing HR trends and what to expect. And, obviously mid-sized to smaller businesses, they really don't understand like the full grasp of compliance and HR and our constant updates. So it'll be great to highlight that. And we try to distribute it where it's multiple different industries. We have ag, we have government and healthcare with Devin, and agriculture too with Marisol, and Robin and Paggi are constantly out in the field working with our mid-sized to smaller companies, even large corporations too, on topics that we usually don't see.
Is there anything that we feel like we haven't reached on yet for the symposium? I mean, the mixer part, which we can, kind of end on that because that's always everyone's favorite part, right?
I would say so, yes. And, it's the last hour. So your breakout sessions end, you wrap up with the exhibitors, we do our raffle, and it's that last 3:30 to 4:30. It's great for networking. A lot of our speakers stay around, including the keynotes, and that way you can get a chance to kind of talk to them one-on-one. I must say the food is excellent, and so are the appetizers at the end of the day. It's really nice, especially, when you're a business owner or a professional, that you've got things to do after work. We've arranged this symposium so that you're done for the day. You can get out of downtown, before the traffic gets really bad.
Yeah. And parking, yeah.
Oh, and parking is free. So it's located in the back. You don't want to get that downtown parking ticket. So event parking is located in the back of the arena, and it's free.
And so are headshots. Don't forget to get your headshots, preferably early in the morning.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to have somebody there that's doing like free headshots in the beginning of the day?
Yes.
Like during like check-in hour?
Yes, 7:30 to 11:30 will be
That's awesome.
headshot.
And how are you, or is it just when they sign up from an email, that's how you're giving out the headshots? Or or is it just going to be like a mass email that goes out, or how are you giving out the headshots?
Our vendor does the editing and emails out, a couple of the good ones to you. When you sign up, you give your email address, and I can tell you that I look forward to getting a new headshot every year, and then our vendors do not spam you with, hey, use our photography. They're great. They're just there for the headshots. They're one of our exhibitor booths. And then for people that like to have a little fun, because we have a photo booth where, you can do the fun photos. Yeah.
That's really awesome that you have a vendor that's doing that, because you said like 400 people in attendance. That's a lot of headshots to get out. So that's really awesome that you found somebody that's willing to do like headshots that day. That's really fun and a unique touch to, an event, because not many people do offer like free headshots for events like that. So let's go back a little bit and talk about the individual breakout sessions and talk about who your breakout sessions are and what they're offering.
Yeah, so just to highlight a little bit about our breakout session. So our panel discussion, I know we discuss local trends and within their industry, but we also have Traco Matthews is one of our second sessions where he's going to be discussing equity. By any other name, it's just as effective. We have Shannon Foster, who's discussing leadership and personal growth. Anita Martin, who's also part of the Martin and Foster Consulting, and she's discussing psychological safety in the workplace. Anna Marie Frank, who we love bringing Anna Marie back as well, using authenticity to lead, inspire, and growth in your career. We do have Sky Newton, who's going to be discussing creating a performance culture and modern performance management techniques. Bill Garrison, who's also part of our committee, that's going to be discussing generational workforces and people leaderships in the new world of work. Susan and Aaron Carter are going to be discussing AI, constantly changing in the workflows and how to implement. And we also have Alfred Ritchie, who's also going to be discussing the AI adoption in HR to improve recruitment and employee engagement. Jess Lasso is going to be discussing recruitment efforts. And we have Jessica Pineda as well, who's going to be discussing embracing and leading through change recruitment branding. Dr. Biswal, from one of the professors from DeVry University, is going to come in and discuss rewards in the digital age, specifically for compensation and benefits. We have RJ Rosenly, who's part of our SHRM board. He's going to be discussing legal updates. Justin Leland is going to be discussing the 7 steps to optimize your company's 401k plan. And we have Fisher Phillips that's also going to be discussing employment law. And I do want to highlight that each breakout speaker, it's going to be getting their HRCI and SHRM credits, which is also something that a lot of HR professionals who have this HR credits, it's an easy way to maintain their credits and make sure that they're in compliance with renewing their certificates.
So is there like breakout session 1, breakout session 2, and 3 so they can rotate and pick a couple of them? Or is it just that you have to choose, is there only one breakout session like throughout the day? Because that's a heavy hitter list of breakout. And I saw a couple topics that, you know, if I was attending, I would definitely like, oh, I want to go to that one. I want to go to that one. So like what does that look like then? Can they choose multiple breakout sessions?
Yes. So we have 3 time slots. And so for each time slot, you can pick your own session. And so that's one of the reasons we like having the tracks. So if it's kind of overwhelming to choose and you have a primary focus that year, then you can just follow the track and that makes it easy. Or you can, and that's why we like to have their info up on the app and on the website ahead of time so that you can take a look, or even that morning at registration while you're enjoying your breakfast, look and see what you want to attend so that you can choose. You're not stuck to a certain track.
To it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And which ones are, like, out of that list, which one are you both of you individually looking forward to the most?
Ooh, AI for me. I've kind of had my head in the sand about AI and I need to get over it. It feels kind of overwhelming. And then I always look forward to hearing Traco Matthews speak. And right now, diversity, inclusion, and definitely equity it's a huge topic for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the panel discussion. It's going to be a little bit different this year. So we have some great speakers, some great panelists coming in, and I'm excited to be the mediator that day for the panel discussion.
That's going to be exciting. I have to say, I really like panel discussions, especially the team that you've picked, Elizabeth. I think it's going to be great because you get to hear voices from different industries on the same topics, because that's something I find. I've always been an HR department of one, and how I implement certain things for compliance or programs is going to be different than someone that is a very large organization or even a different industry. And I need that information because how a large company does it is not how I'm going to be able to do it with a smaller staff.
I think I'm interested on the AI as well because, I mean, my tax and accounting industry is also getting hit. I think the similarities that we have is that a lot of what we do is regulations by the state and by the federal government, which change constantly. And it's law. And again, AI, they've put up to the test that it can't interpret the law all the time. And so if you are a business owner, strictly getting your information from only AI, I would highly suggest not doing that because, again, it's not backed by anything. And you can't, use it in a line of defense, and you can't use it in a court case that AI told me that this was the law and I needed to follow it. So I agree with you. My head was in the sand a little bit about AI, and I was like, how is this going to impact us? And I think obviously with technologies, especially on mine, the bookkeeping side, being able to implement a little bit more AI. But I think always having that human touch, the interpretation of the law, and the constant changing of the law, we're still always going to be around. Like there's no way the AI is going to be able to come in and replace all of that. You mentioned a little bit about your 2 keynote speakers, and let's revisit those a little bit and what their main topics are going to be, discussing.
Yeah, so we have Avish Parashar, who's going to be our morning speaker. And so he grew up in an exotic New York, and now he's home in Philadelphia. So they're both, this was not planned, they're both traveling from Philadelphia to California for this event. So usually with Avish, he's going to speak more about say yes and. So usually we really don't look at the employee engagement within the staffing industry or healthcare and human services within all different industries. So he performed through high school. He decided to stop performing when he went to college, focus on his studies. Obviously, his parents were very proud of him. And throughout his career, we went through humorous stories, jokes, audience interaction, improv comedy game. He really found passion in educating business professionals on how to communicate with individuals, your colleagues, your coworkers. So he keeps the audience engaged while imparting a key lesson. So planning is important, but improvising is essential. And typically, no matter how well you plan things, something's going to go wrong. There's going to be surprises, and the universe will throw a curveball at you, and he's going to teach you how to prepare for that. It's always being a quick mindset and being able to switch gears. By the end of the day, Avish's presentation, you will have the key and tools to flow with all that life throws at you. So his goal is to be very creative, very uncreative too, especially, like accountants within the field. That's something that he tries to focus. So that way, when he relates the message, it relates to all, not just human resource professionals. And the very casual, business-like professional, the end result is going to be the same. Smile, laughs, and a new way to look at life and business.
I think all business, I read a quote today, literally, it's so funny, a couple hours ago, that said, if you wanted your day to go as planned, don't be a business owner. And it's so true, because it really is like every day is like you think, oh, this is my schedule for the day, and then fiery here, or, this there. And it's the same thing in HR, I can assume, because it's, hiring new people or people quitting, and the workforce is changing, especially with all the fringe benefits and COVID, that whole era of working from home. People still want to work. I mean, I heard that newspaper thing about Wells Fargo, or was Wells Fargo? No, Wells Fargo was that people were cheating and like having a fake computer to keep them active. That was the Wells Fargo. So a bunch of people got fired. But I think it was another company, and I don't remember the name of the company, but they chose, hey, do you want to come back to work, or do you want a $10,000 decrease in pay? And half of their staff chose the $10,000 decrease in pay because they wanted to work from home instead of coming in office. So I think COVID is everlasting, going to keep changing the HR. And even in myself, I'm the oldest person in my company. I work with, and I'm an elder millennial, if you will. So I don't know what the generation is underneath me, Generation Y or X or something like that. And yeah, the worth ethic and how to motivate them is completely different. And so I think that's really interesting, because I'm assuming in the HR and in my just being a business owner, like your days are never as planned. It's always changing. There's always something in that industry that's changing.
Yeah, because humans are not predictable, and especially when they're interacting, and talk about, yes, thinking on your feet, and especially as a business owner, as an HR professional, or anyone that's in leadership, because we do have a lot of leadership, from, a variety of management level and executive level attend. And it's because you have to think on your feet. You have to be prepared, and you don't want to say the wrong thing, because then you are, you're going to be held to it.
And I just recently too, I know back then, and it used to be, SHRM HR, and it's not necessarily HR. A lot of our HR professionals, they're starting to bring in their supervisors, their managers, because at the end of the day, it falls under HR, right? So helping them educate themselves on how to handle a situation where it helps HR, it's definitely an advantage.
I think that's awesome, because earlier we emphasize on hey, if you're a business owner with an employee, you should be here. But if you're a C-suite employee, upper management, you should probably also, because again, you are dealing with the hiring and firing and maintaining the relationships with the staff. So I think that's a good point that we didn't really touch upon earlier, that really, this is kind of for anybody.
Yeah, it really is. And that's something, it's funny, I was thinking about it on my drive to work this morning. HR may be problem solving, they may be implementing initiatives, but honestly, if you don't have advocates in the rest of your organization, a participant from your managers, we're not the ones that are supposed to maintain those programs and the compliance, because you need buy-in from every level, and that's the only way you're going to be successful. And I found that, my company always sponsors a booth, and then the people that are at the booth go and attend the breakout sessions, and they're they've come back to me, oh my gosh, I learned so much. That
That's
keynote
awesome.
was amazing. So I love to hear that it's not just for HR.
Perfect. So want to go over the other guest speaker?
Yeah,
keynote
so we
speaker?
have Rob Dubin as our afternoon speaker, and he's, in-demand speaker, corporate trainer that specializes in employee happiness, engagement, and resilience. So he's a serial entrepreneur who created multiple 7-figure businesses, and he's partnered with dozens of Fortune 500 companies to craft their marketing messages, improve training, and increase profits. Obviously we want to keep our employees happy to make sure that they meet performance. But Rob has studied happiness with the Yale University, spoke on happiness at Harvard University, and he's appeared on stage with Tony Robbins and Les Brown on the Today Show, Good Morning America, Fox, and other shows within our world. So his TED talks about happiness, and it was viewed over 250,000 times in the first 3 months. And he's a co-author focusing on employee happiness in Amazon #1's bookseller and Barnes & Noble #4 in business books. He's interweaves with the science of human happiness, which lessons learned at sea resulting in presentations that are memorable, inspirational, give sound strategies for creating happier people starting immediately. So he'll show you how to communicate with others and making sure that it stays positive, because obviously you could walk into an environment and there's different types of people that could, it takes one person just to make it toxic for the others, but how to make it positive and get along with each other.
Is that saying that you don't always remember what somebody said, but you remember how somebody made you feel? So it's kind of that same concept. So, the vibe around the new terminology, the vibe around things. But yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. And both of them are from the Philadelphia, or they're flying in from the Philadelphia area as well.
Flying. Yes, they're here. So one of them's going to be Rob's going to be actually traveling from Oregon, I believe, with his wife. They have another presentation there. So they're going to be going to the Sequoia National Forest on their way here. So they're making it a week event.
That's been awesome. I guess just a side note for my entertainment, how do you find the speakers, or like how do you go off and get because again, like it's so awesome that we're bringing talent from like literally on the East Coast to like over here. So like how do you go about like making those connections to get the keynote speakers?
We have an amazing marketing director, Cynthia Moreno, who is very good at promoting our events and it shares in social media and email blast, and usually they come to us and say, I saw your event and it looked like it was very successful. How can I be a part of it? And we get all the applications just like our breakout speakers, and they send us a summary of their topics and we review them. They go through our interview process and how are you going to make our community better?
Right.
So
that's so cool. Well, I appreciate you ladies coming in. It sounds like this is going to be an amazing event. Again, it's October 2nd. Registration is currently opened. And if you're wanting to be a vendor, I believe they said they had 7 spots open. And if you're wanting to be a sponsor, you can kind of go on their website and look at the different sponsorship opportunities that are still left. I highly encourage business owners, upper management, anyone that's wanting to get more information on the different topics for HR to attend and get connected with Casey and SHRM just to see, keep you updated with, the ever-ending, regulations that are always changing here in California. So again, I appreciate your time and I hope you guys have a wonderful, successful event.
thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
This show has been brought to you by the Law Office of Kyle Jones, Troy Burton with the Lynn Company, CPA John Duffield, Scott Hansen Real Estate Lender, broker and investor, Dave Plivlich, President and CEO of the Marcom Group and MarcomBranding.com, and Amanda DiGiacomo, President of Atlas Financial Solutions. You've been listening to the Our 2 Cents podcast. Check out the show notes for links and more information about the show. Also visit our website at our2centspodcast.com or catch us on Instagram at Our 2 Cents Podcasts. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share with others.